Hey everybody, welcome to News to the Science. We discuss comics, movies, games, and more. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day aside from this terrible pandemic that we're dealing with right now. And as you can see here, as evident to my facial hair, I have what's called, I guess, a quarantine beard, where I've kept myself unkept in the face area, provided that I don't even have to go anywhere to go to work and I don't have to be as clean. But I'm kind of liking it so far and kind of not, because I feel guilty that I have not cleaned up. But anyways, that's a story for another topic. Today we're going to be talking about PlayStation 5 news, specifically our first look at the Dualsense PS5's new controller. Sony, PlayStation, where's the PS5? We haven't seen anything. It's been months, okay? And we haven't seen a damn thing. That's a side rant as well for another time. But anyways, more importantly, let's go over what Sony has unveiled for us. And we're going to go ahead to this article here from Twitter. This is from Sony's official Twitter. This is not a joke. It's not a prank. I'm going to go ahead and look at this article and then, read a little bit of this article to you guys. You're more than welcome to go check out this article on Twitter. And I'll leave the link in the description down below if you want to check it out. It's on the PlayStation.blog website. And this is from Hideaki Nishino, Senior Vice President, Platform Planning and Management at Sony. PlayStation, we've reached an exciting milestone with PlayStation 5 as we are starting to ship our new controller in its final design to developers who are implementing its unique features into their games. But first, we wanted everyone in the PlayStation community to get a first look at the DualSense wireless controller, as they're calling it. And here are a vision for how the new controller will captivate more than your senses as you interact with the visual world in PS5 games. The features of DualSense, along with PS5's Tempest 3D audio tech, will deliver a new feeling of immersion to players. When the PS4 launched in 2013, the DualShock 4 wireless controller garnered a lot of positive feedback from the gamers and developers for being the best PlayStation controller yet, and for introducing forward-looking features like the share button. This brought us to the next question: how do we build upon that success? This provided us with an exciting challenge to design a new controller that builds off the current generation while taking into a new account new features we are adding. And for the buttons, you'll notice there is no longer a share button as we had with DualShock 4. Don't worry, it's not going away. DualSense adds a built-in microphone array, which will enable players to easily chat with friends without a headset. Now that's pretty convenient because headsets can get really annoying, especially when they are wired and not wireless, which was really stupid. I mean, we are living in the modern era where wireless is basically essential and the main theme. It's the future, really. And sometimes when you're moving around with the controller, maybe one hand is free, you swing it, you might detach the headset off the controller, where in this case now you can communicate with your friends through the controller's microphone, which is pretty exciting. But I'm going to go over the design in a second. A deal for jumping into quick conversation, but of course, if you're planning to chat for a long period, it's good to have that headset handy, So if you look here at the controllers, let me see if I can get a closer look. This is a better look at the controller. The first one that they showed off is a white one, and if you notice, the only similarities to the original DualShock 4 controller for the PlayStation 4 is this right here. I forgot what they call this button for PlayStation. Don't hate me. It's the touchpad, or you would press it to gain access to, let's say, a map, your equipment, your inventory in various games. It depends what your game you're playing. But it's a touchpad and you kind of interact with, certain games. You can do it for touching sequences, you touching, it's simulating touching a screen, looking at a map, of course. And it was just, like I said before, it's a way to access various different aspects of whatever game you're playing. Everything else is pretty much almost the same. You got your D-pad, you got your classic square X, triangle, circle button. And if you notice here, the one key defining feature here is USB-C. So I think the PlayStation DualSense controller will be sporting USB-C for much faster charging, which is really convenient because, let's face it, the controllers for the DualShock 4, as beautiful as that design was, it only utilized USB, I think, a mini USB 2.0, and you only got about 5 hours out of each charge, and that wasn't long enough for any gaming session. I mean, you can say 5 hours is a lot of hours to play in a game, but there's a lot of true hardcore gamers out there that would play full on plus 5 hours. So that's why you'd have to buy a secondary controller, or even 3. I personally own 3 of them. You know, I like to switch in between them, and I have a charging cradle for my remote controls. But USB-C is good because you can get a really fast charge. Perhaps maybe even 30 minutes will get you like maybe 3-4 hours or so. And also another thing, they've gone and did away with the light that was on the DualShock 4 controller, which I actually liked, but was truly a battery killer in the DualShock 4 controllers. So that's one thing that I've seen here that was like the first thing I noticed, that they did away with the light. And that was something that was more of a rumor back then, actually, where they said that they will not be putting the light in the controller, and it turned out to be true because, you know, those leaks were true. But if you look very, very closely here, I don't know if I can zoom it. Yes, I can. You look closely here, there is a bit of a blue lighting hue underneath in the underneath this pad right here. Perhaps the light will sheen through like the creases right here of the controller, so that'll be nice. That'll be really, really sweet. You know, perhaps if you're playing in a dark environment, you can still easily find your controller. It's not just a controller and that's it. There's no light. It's cool to have like a nice little light indicator, and that's pretty much it. That's all I'm going to say about that as far as the controller goes. And then let's look at the front. And it's really interesting because I didn't really notice this light emitting from the controller here at the very beginning. I thought that was actually part of the color scheme, but it appears to be a light, and which I really like, and it really gives PlayStation its theme, and it really differentiates itself from other controllers and other consoles. And look at me talking about lights like a little child who has the attention span of a squirrel. So other than that, I'm wondering, is white and black going to be the official first PS5 controller? Because we were wondering if it came in black, and the answer is yes, it does come in black. My buddy there, Evan Falarka, even made a comment there about the controller if it comes in black, actually, and that was pretty fun. So if you look here, Evan posted a good old Batman Begins clip. Does it come in black? And yes, it does. It is beautiful. It does come in black. I'm definitely gonna get the black one because black is one of my favorite colors ever, and so is red. If red comes out, I'd love to get it in red. And man, that white one, I'm really feeling it. So anyways, back to this. I'm not gonna read the entire article. Again, I'm gonna post the link to this article in the comments, in the description down below, and in the comments too if you want to check it out. Read the blog for yourself. DualSense adds a built-in microphone array which will enable players to easily chat with friends without a headset. Again, you know, when you upon closer inspection of this controller, like upon closer look, this controller really reminds me of the Game Pro controller for the Nintendo Switch. Actually, it's kind of similar, but smaller and a lot more mobile, because the Pro controller is really nice and it fits in the hand, and especially in my hands. I have kind of semi big hands, and even the PlayStation 4 controller, even though it's got a slim form factor, it still feels very comfortable in the hands. So I have no doubt that this controller will feel very comfortable in my hands. It kind of oddly looks like a very slimmed down version of the Xbox One controller, in my opinion. But the Xbox One controller does feel pretty good in my hands, and I have no doubt that this one will feel pretty good in my hands as well. So let's talk about the colors. Traditionally, our base controllers have a single color. As you can see, we went in a different direction this time around and decided a two-tone design. So that's pretty cool. Every single iteration of PlayStation controllers from like the original, they went with a one-theme color design up until the PlayStation 4. Now we know that PlayStation 5's controller will have a two-tone theme controller design, and I think that's going to go into account for every other controller with the exception of the black one, because the black one seems to be all black with little highlights of blue, and that might be the lighting. So additionally, we changed the position on the light bar. That will give it an extra pop. You know, the DualShock 4, it sat on the top of the controller. Now it sits at each side of the touchpad. See, I knew it. Those are lights, giving it slightly larger look and feel. So it will pop. It will light up in dark environments. It'll be easier to find in a dark environment. So if you leave it on your couch, for those of you guys who ever sat on your controllers in the past from like the PlayStation 1 to like PlayStation 3 era, I've been there, I've done that. But I think, you know, giving it a light is nice if you want to play in a dark environment. Plus, it looks cool. So In all, we went through several concepts and hundreds of mock-ups over the last few years before we settled on the final design. Dualsense has been tested by a wide range of gamers with a variety of hand sizes in order for us to achieve the comfort level we wanted with great ergonomics. Our goal with Dualsense is to give gamers the feeling of being transported into the game world as soon as they open the box. We want gamers to feel the controller is an extension of themselves when they're playing, so much that they want to forget that it's even in their hands. We are thrilled about sharing the final look at the Dualsense controller with our fans, and we can't wait for everyone to get their hands on it. I'd like to close this message from SIE President and CEO Jim Ryan to the community. So Jim Ryan wrote a message here for all of us here, and it says here that Dualsense marks a radical departure from our previous controller offerings and captures just how strongly we feel about making a generalization leap with PS5. Generational leap? Okay, that's a generational. The new controller, along with the many innovative features in PS5, will be transformative for gamers. Continuing our mission at PlayStation to push the boundaries of play and now and in the future. To the PlayStation community, I truly want to thank you for sharing this exciting journey with us we had toward PS5 launch in holiday 2020. We look forward to sharing more information about PS5, including the console design, in the coming months. So they better show the console within the next, I gotta say, 2 to 3 weeks or so, because the fact that they're remaining coy about this kind of is worrisome, and it makes it seem like Xbox is really winning right now this round of this generation of consoles. I mean, spec wise, I didn't even get to do a video about this, and I do apologize, but I saw the specs of the Xbox One X, Series X, terrible name, and I saw the specs of the PlayStation 5 with that freaking horrible, boring ass freaking conference that was held at Sony PlayStation by I believe it's Mark Cerny, who looks like Dana Carvey, by the way. And they went over the specs, and one thing that really sticks out more than anything else was the SSD and the speed, basically, and that's pretty much it. Xbox Series X is like boasting a 12.9 teraflops processor, and Sony's only has a 10.2 teraflops, which is a significant upgrade from the last one, from the PS4 Pro, which was only 4.2 teraflops. So up by 6 teraflops. It is a significant upgrade, but in comparison to Xbox, it makes, once again, PlayStation 5 the weaker console, the more insignificant console. Not that much though, it's only like 1.8 teraflops weaker. But the thing about Sony, they have one advantage, and that's their speed, their input speed on the SSD. They do have a less capacity at 850 gigabytes of SSD, and Xbox Series X has the 1 terabyte. Honestly, I think we should be at least at minimum at 2 terabytes. Come on, it's 2020. Games take up so much space these days. You can barely hold at least 5 or 6 games in your console these days, and with internal memory. With that being said, guys, that was the control of the PS5. It's officially been announced and shown. Now we're only going to have to be waiting for the official first look of the PlayStation 5. And who knows, they may drop that bombshell tomorrow. They may say, here you go, here's the PS5, and it's tomorrow. I don't know, I'm just making this up. But it seems like Sony's playing coy, or they're quietly announcing their consoles, because we're not having an E3, we're not having any special events coming up this year where they get to announce these consoles. So these console announcements are going to be online, just like the PlayStation 5 remotes was announced online. So with that being said, guys, what's the final verdict that I have? I like it. At first, I thought it looked a little weird and funky, but after looking at it a little bit from different angles, I'm like, I can totally see this in my hands. It actually looks like a very good controller. I am pretty excited for it, and I cannot wait to start playing PlayStation 5 games. So guys, that was it. That was my video for the new PlayStation 5. What you guys think of it? The new DualSense PS5 remote. Are you excited to get the new PS5? Are you excited for this remote? Hey, I'm excited. So, anyways, with that being said, guys, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click on bell notifications so y'all don't miss anything. As always, I will see you all in the next video.